Hey everyone, and welcome back to LearnFlow. We are diving deep into AI news today because what's happening in the world of artificial intelligence right now isn't just a news cycle. It's a tectonic shift. Over the last few years, we've been playing with cool chatbots and fun image generators. But today, the story has fundamentally changed. We're moving from a phase where AI was a tool you used to a phase where AI is becoming an autonomous partner, a digital colleague. This isn't just about faster text or better images. This is about AI running into the most profound limits. Limits on data, limits on trust, and limits on what laws even apply. These are the deep, complex stories that the short news clips just can't cover. In this deep dive, we're breaking down the 4 massive trends that are defining the current landscape and shaping the future. The agent revolution, the data dilemma, the policy minefield, and the job shockwave. So, grab a coffee, hit that like and subscribe button for LearnFlow, and let's dive deep into the future, right now. Part 1, the agent revolution, AI as a colleague. Remember when you had to give your AI a new prompt for every single step of a task? First, write an outline, then flesh out point 1, then edit for tone. It was like constantly telling a very smart child what to do next. Well, that era is ending. The biggest breakthrough today is the move to AI agents. What is an AI agent? Think of a traditional AI as a highly specialized tool, like a fancy screwdriver. An AI agent is more like a junior colleague. You don't tell it to do step A, then step B, then step C. You just give it the goal. A simple example. Instead of asking your AI, write me a report on the stock market, you ask your agent or co-pilot, my goal is to invest in the next big thing in clean energy. Find the top 3 companies, analyze their last 5 years of financials, summarize their risks, and present it as a 10-slide deck. The agent then decides the steps. It searches the web for relevant trends, filters for companies, accesses financial data, writes the summaries, and generates the presentation. It works across multiple tools. Breakdown. It uses a technique called a multimodal large language model, MLLM. Like recent advancements in autonomous AI, this system doesn't just process text. It processes context and reasoning. It knows that invest means look at financials and risk. It's a leap in AI street smarts by achieving goal decomposition and resource management. Story moment and example, autonomous vehicles and real-world impact. Let's talk about a huge, real-world application, autonomous vehicles. One of the scariest moments for a self-driving car isn't seeing a pedestrian. It's figuring out what that pedestrian is about to do. Will they step off the curb? Will they pause? This is where agentic systems come in. Researchers built MLLMs that look at the visual cues, the person's body language, where they're looking, how fast they're walking, and combines that with contextual information. Is this a busy intersection? Is the light red? It's a digital version of reading minds, and it is crucial for safety. This agent is proactively predicting human behavior. The pro, it radically increases safety, moving from reaction to anticipation. The con, it also raises huge ethical questions. How do we audit an AI for bias if it's predicting risk based on context it was trained on? What if the agent's complex decision-making process is a complete black box? Pros and cons of AI agents. Pros, cons. Productivity amplifier, oversight challenge. A small team can now do the work of a much larger team, amplifying human expertise in areas like coding and research. Agents can act on wrong information autonomously, leading to rapid, high-impact, and costly errors across a workflow. New roles created, opacity/black box. The need for agent whisperers or AI strategists to define the goals and manage the output, focusing on high-level direction. The steps an agent takes are often complex and hard to trace. Explaining the why of its decision is a major challenge for auditing and trust. Contextual smart security risk. Improved memory and reasoning allow agents to handle complex, long-term tasks and interact with multiple external tools, APIs. If one agent system is compromised, it has access to entire workflows and multiple corporate resources. The takeaway for LearnFlow viewers is that the most valuable skill moving forward isn't using the tool, but steering the agent. You become the CEO of the AI workforce. Part 2. The Data Dilemma, Running Out of Knowledge? This is the headline that sounds like science fiction, but it's very real. AI models are starting to run out of new, quality data. The problem of saturation. Think about how the last wave of AI was trained. It ate the entire internet. Wikipedia, every book ever digitized, billions of web pages, and huge libraries of images and video. That's a massive lake of data. But the models got so powerful so fast that they've ingested almost all of the novel human knowledge. The world's data is still growing, but the new, unique, high-quality data is not growing at the pace AI needs. The core issue is that once an AI has read every scientific textbook on a topic, it can't generate new insights until a new textbook is written. Training on the same data again and again just leads to commoditized outputs, the AI equivalent of all your search results looking exactly the same. The breakdown: we're hitting the limits of extractive AI, where the AI just summarizes and recombines existing data. To solve genuinely advanced problems like new drug combinations, new financial models, or climate modeling, AI needs new synthetic data. Story, moment, and example: the synthetic fix. The good news is the solution is another AI breakthrough: synthetic data generation. Imagine a pharmaceutical company trying to find a new cancer drug. They have real-world data from a few thousand patient trials. Historically, they'd have to physically run hundreds of thousands of slow, expensive experiments to find the next breakthrough. Now, they can use an AI model to create millions of synthetic, yet realistic patient records, drug compounds, and trial outcomes. These aren't fake data points. They are plausible new data that have never existed in the real world, but follow the known laws of chemistry and biology. The AI then trains on this new, massive, varied, and novel synthetic dataset. The pro: this is a true breakthrough for quantitative industries like finance, pharma, and materials science. It allows AI to model the future and explore limitless possibilities, not just analyze the past. The con: we are training AI on data created by an AI. We have to be incredibly careful about model collapse or data pollution, the potential for biases or subtle errors in the synthetic data to be amplified into the next generation of models. Pros and cons of the data shift. Pros, cons. Unlocks new science data pollution risk. AI can explore endless permutations, drug combos, atomic structures that were previously impossible to test physically, leading to breakthroughs. If the synthetic data generation model is flawed or biased, it pollutes all subsequent AI models trained on it, leading to systemic errors. Fills data gaps, the hallucination problem. Solves the problem for industries with inherently small or sensitive datasets, like rare medical conditions or certain financial transactions. The line between a plausible new data point and an AI hallucination becomes harder to define and control, leading to inconsistent performance. It's a paradox. We need AI to create the data to train the next generation of AI. It's like a new form of digital photosynthesis, and it is fascinating, but requires extreme caution. Part 3: Policy and Regulation, the Global Rulebook. When a technology moves this fast, the rules inevitably lag behind. But the current era is the year that government bodies, from the EU to the US to China, are aggressively trying to catch up. This isn't just bureaucratic red tape. This is about safety and trust. The risk-based approach, EU AI Act. The gold standard right now, the most comprehensive framework, is the EU AI Act. And its whole philosophy is built around risk classification. Think of it like this: not all AI is created equal. Asterisk unacceptable risk, ban systems that manipulate behavior or allow social scoring by the government. Banned. Asterisk high risk, strict rules AI used in critical areas like medical devices, hiring decisions, or critical infrastructure. These systems need thorough human oversight, rigorous documentation, compliance checks, and registration in an EU database. Asterisk limited risk, transparency, simple things like chatbots or deepfakes. The requirement here is transparency. You just need to let the user know they are interacting with an AI, a watermark for digital content. Asterisk minimal/no risk, things like spam filters or video games. Almost no regulation. The breakdown. This means for a company selling an AI hiring tool, high risk. Compliance is no longer a suggestion, it's a market access requirement. If you want to sell into Europe, you must follow the rules, which is now impacting the entire global industry as countries adopt similar tiered frameworks. Story moment and example: global regulatory trends. While the EU is focusing on a sweeping single law, the US approach is different. It's often focused on executive action and strengthening existing agencies. The FTC for consumer protection, the FDA for medical AI, and others are being empowered to use their current rules to manage AI risks. It's a sectoral, less centralized approach. Meanwhile, countries like China are focused on licensing and content control. They've expanded licensing regimes to foundation model developers, focusing heavily on content compliance and ensuring the AI's output adheres to state values. The deepfake election challenge. A clear global trend is the focus on deceptive deepfakes. Countries and states are passing laws to prohibit fraudulent deepfakes in election communications or to prevent the unauthorized use of a person's likeness. The pro: it protects democracy and individual rights, like an actor's likeness being used commercially without their permission. The con: differing regulations across states and countries make it incredibly complex for global AI companies to comply with everything, creating regulatory fragmentation. Pros and cons of AI governance. Pros, cons. Builds public trust, global fragmentation. Clear rules and transparency mandates, watermarking, help the public trust AI outputs and know who is accountable. Companies face a patchwork of different rules in the EU, US, China, etc., which slows innovation and increases cost. Sets accountability, regulatory capture. Forces companies to establish governance structures and appoint responsible officers, moving beyond move fast and break things. Large companies can afford the compliance costs, potentially freezing out smaller, innovative startups that lack the legal resources. Global governance is now a competitive edge. The companies that figure out how to be compliant, trustworthy, and interoperable will lead the next wave. Part 4. The job market shockwave, the junior crunch. When AI first became big, the fear was that it would wipe out all the jobs. Then, the conversation shifted to, AI will create new jobs. Both are true, but the latest data shows a surprising, much more specific shift, and it's hitting the entry-level hardest. The compression of the latter. Recent studies from institutions like Harvard and Stanford are confirming a trend. Junior positions, workers typically aged 22 to 25, in AI-exposed fields are shrinking. At the same time, older, more experienced colleagues in those same sectors are seeing gains. Why is this happening? Asterisk automation of the grunt work, junior roles, the internships, the first jobs out of college, are typically designed around repetitive, structured, or intellectually mundane tasks. Data entry, initial research, drafting basic emails, running simple analytics. These are the exact tasks that AI agents and copilots are now automating instantly. Asterisk productivity amplifier for seniors. An experienced manager who used to spend their time correcting a junior's work or waiting for a draft report now has an AI copilot that handles that initial heavy lifting. The senior worker's productivity is amplified, reducing the proportional need for the junior assistant. The jobs most vulnerable are things like basic bookkeeping, back-office administrative tasks, and customer support reliant on scripted responses. AI is effectively eroding the first rung of the career ladder. Story moment and example. The need for performance boosters. This isn't just about job losses. It's about a new definition of the entry-level worker. We are shifting from doing the task to managing the AI doing the task. Example: the content creator. A junior content creator used to spend their first year writing 50 versions of an email subject line. Now, an AI can generate 50 in 5 seconds. The manager doesn't need someone to generate the lines. They need someone to strategically select, test, and optimize the best one. The pro: for the workers who adapt, AI is a performance booster. A skilled worker can now achieve a ton more, focusing on judgment, creativity, and strategic problem solving. The total value output per employee is skyrocketing in companies that integrate AI effectively. The con: the barrier to entry is higher. New graduates need to come in with not just field knowledge but AI fluency, the ability to steer the tool, not just use the tool. Pros and cons of AI in the workplace. Pros, cons. Higher value work, increased barrier to entry. Frees employees from routine, repetitive tasks, allowing them to focus on creativity, strategy, and complex problem solving. The initial entry point into many professional fields is being automated away, making it harder for new workers to get started and build foundational skills. Productivity gains, structural workforce restructuring. Companies using AI see huge jumps in revenue per employee and can achieve global campaigns with smaller teams. Companies may be restructuring their workforces without considering the long-term impact on the talent pipeline and necessary human-centric skills. This means for all of you on LearnFlow watching this, your learning priorities have to change. You have to learn how to speak the language of the agent. You have to learn how to be the pilot, not just the passenger. The takeaway and your next step. So, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive on today's AI news. AI agents are shifting the game from tools to digital colleagues. The data dilemma is forcing us to create new, synthetic reality to keep the learning going. Global policy is finally catching up, making trust and compliance the new competitive advantage. And the job market is having a specific, surprising shockwave at the entry level. If I had to synthesize the pros and cons of this entire moment, it looks like this. The good news, pros, the challenging news, cons. Exponential productivity, exponential risk. New scientific breakthroughs, the barrier to entry problem. Mandated global accountability, need for constant reskilling. The core of the issue, and the challenge for all of us, is that AI is no longer a separate, fun piece of technology. It is the operating system of the modern world. You have to understand it. You have to know how to manage it. And that brings me to your next step. I want you to go to your favorite AI, whether it's Claude, Gemini, or ChatGPT, and instead of asking it a simple question, give it a multi-step goal. Don't tell it the steps. Just give it the destination. For example, I need to plan a 3-day weekend trip to City X. Find 3 different hotel options, calculate the total driving distance from my city, and draft a packing list based on the 7-day weather forecast. Practice becoming the CEO of the agent. That's the key to navigating this new AI landscape. Thank you so much for spending this deep hour with me here on LearnFlow. If this script helped you understand the bigger picture, please hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns, and let me know in the comments. Which of these 4 trends worries you the most? Until next time, keep learning, keep flowing, and I'll see you in the next video.